Let me see again exactly how far I am down this whole list. Well, I've played whatever games I was able to play here. Or at least attempted. I remembered I was still in the whole Alan Cottle list. Getting down to Godzilla, Hamster Man, not further down. I don't know if I got here. I remember getting to Cosmo Cat. I think I don't know if I got to Legend of Bud or not. I think maybe I did. Lighting, I can't play it directly in the browser, so I'm probably going to pass on it. Same goes for these, which are also more recent games that were made in the 2010s. Whereas typically you would expect most of the games in here, most of the games that were made in this old Game Maker, to be made in the 90s, when the engine was new at the time. I definitely remember having played Cosmo Cat last time I did the RSD stream. Don't think I actually fully played through Legend of Bud though, so we're going to actually just start here. Yeah, there's still like a lot of them to play here. Yeah, because Alan Cottle really did make this many games. Piner also made a lot. Alright, so Legend of Bud has no instructions, no storyline, no credits. Okay, did I actually play this one already? And... okay, I might have played this one. Right at the end of my last stream, I might have played it. And yeah, it's clearly Legend of Zelda inspired. And yeah, that was, I think, a Darth Vader I just saw. Amongst all the other random stuff, there was a Darth Vader. And a Mario, too. That I assume was an enemy that I can kill and can kill me back if I touch it. I think I probably did just play this already, and it looked like an unfinished beta of some sort. I can just run out here and there's nothing else to really do. I mean, this still definitely does scream Legend of Zelda. Yeah, I can run out here and there's like nothing going on, so... I would assume I had played this one already. So I guess I'm gonna skip over lighting and then just play Little Chocolate Donut Man and Chocolate Terror. Since I can just go and middle click here and then just open up a new tab and start playing this game. It was made in 1995 by the same guy we were mentioning earlier, Alan Cottle over here. Mostly glad in the way there's no instructions, credits, or storyline, because they'd be really hard to read on this title screen. Right, so I can't exactly tell, like, if I have play selected. Like, I can't even see the word play on the title screen, I just assume it's there because the options on every title screen are the same for every RSD game anyways. So I would assume I just clicked play. And that's going to be a little cutscene of sorts before the game actually starts. Oh, this one? Oh yeah, we gotta go back to the whole 3 different buttons to jump sort of controls. Right, so I got enemies on the ground that's making it harder to hit them. Yeah, I got enemies on the ground, which is certainly annoying to say the least. And just like that, I miss a simple jump. Okay, I'm gonna have to get used to the 3 jump buttons again. Okay, I can't jump high enough just by pressing 1 jump button. I think I might have to use, like, 2 of them. Okay, you're telling me. I think I might need to use like 2 jump buttons on that. Yup, gotta use 2 jump buttons there. 2 of my 3 jump buttons I gotta use there, clearly. Well, at least now I know how to traverse these platforms. Now I know how to get up them pretty easily. I still overshot the jump and died. Yeah, jump up, then jump right, up and right. Yeah, now I know how to make the jumps and all. Yeah, it still feels awkward as hell to have to use multiple jump buttons. It's probably never gonna stop feeling awkward, no matter how many of these I play. I think it's not just useful, but a necessity here as well. Like, I don't even think there is any other way to get up there besides that set of jumps that I was just making. Right, so up, then left, and up. Okay, I'm trying to fire my donuts downwards and left, but I can't really do that. So here's what I'm gonna try. Enemies are perfectly stationed on the ground, so I can't really hit them. Oh, I go here. Didn't look like that was any sort of place I could go to. But I do go there after all. Now I gotta figure out how I'm getting around here. And where to jump to. I don't even know where to jump to now. Now I can't even tell where I'm supposed to hop towards. Okay, I overshot the jump again. Good going. And I guess we just got a game over. Yep. I'll see if I maybe have any better luck trying to figure out where to go this time around. I would assume there's absolutely nothing to my left. Oh, and you don't even know how to beat this level. I mean, if you didn't know better, you might even think, like, the chocolate donuts I'm shooting at my enemies kind of look like that as well, if you didn't know better. Also, doesn't help when the enemies are stationed on the ground and my donuts all just fly over them. Okay, I guess that will also work, just... Okay, maybe I can't necessarily use a single jump button, that doesn't always work. I mean, it kind of works, but doesn't always work. Alright, there we go. Let's not overshoot our jumps again. Yeah, there's really no easy way to hit this guy with these controls. I tell you, there's no easy way to get to this guy and actually hit him. I just have to shoot straight down and still somehow hit the enemy anyways. As annoying as that may be. Yeah, when you literally give me no other way to attack the enemies that are on the ground. This is the best one I can come up with. I just have to hope I don't run out of health trying to do it this way. That is, if I can run out of health in this, I don't even know. Right, back on the platform, please. We're right there. I would assume I want to go up here. Yeah, I don't even know where to go now. This is where I got stuck earlier. I don't know how to get unstuck either. Have to make a leap of faith, but in what direction? Left or right? It's not clear. It isn't exactly clear, though, as to where I need to go next. Try jumping left, that didn't work, I'll go right. Oh, wait, what? Unless this isn't actually anywhere new. I wouldn't even know. Okay, I probably didn't actually get anywhere new. Doesn't even look like it. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I've already been here. Looks like I have to get up here, but it looks to be almost impossible to do so. That doesn't look, like, reasonably doable, but it looks like, in fact, I do have to go up there. Yeah, there's a seemingly unreachable ledge, and I don't know how to get there. If I jump to my left, then there's really nothing else out there, so I just do not know how to proceed any further in that game, unfortunately. I guess I'm gonna go with Mr. Burkle Durkle next, as this I can also play in the browser. As this is on the archive and playable right in the browser. I don't know how to actually get through that level. Right, and there's our title screen. I guess it's just time to hit play then. Okay, so where's the floor? Oh my god. And I'm already dead. Wait, can this guy even attack? Okay, he can. You gotta use enter to attack, though. This reminds me of Alucard's Ball of Destruction attack, but way more seizure-inducing. Way more psychedelic, though. Do I just die in one hit from anything? Do I even get a chance to land before I figure out what's actually going on? Let's try this again. What if I go this way? And why do I have to fall so far just to actually start really going anywhere in the first place anyways? Yeah, let's see if I can even get anywhere before I just get one shot by pretty much anything. There we go. Took out my first enemy. It only took like 3 or 4 tries. Just be really careful, of course. So yeah, this is Mr. Burkle Durkle, alright. I think I might just be safest if I keep on spamming this attack here. This might work out in my favor. Nope. That didn't work. Yeah, this one doesn't even let you get hit like once or twice. Can barely afford to even get hit here at all. Oh, and they only get stunned too. Oh, okay, is there something relevant up here or no? Okay, I can't believe we gotta use enter now suddenly to attack. Instead of space like some of the games I played just previously. Yeah, I could just shoot these things all day, but actually have to progress onwards on the level, ideally. Alright. Is this a leap of faith? I'll hope it is. Nope. Clearly not a leap of faith. So that just leads to my death again. Do I go here? What just happened? Did I just break the game? Did I just completely break it by accident again? Yeah, I got Mr. Burkle Durkle stuck over here. Wait, now that I think about it, is he actually drawn to like 2 different art styles? Yeah, this is one art style we're looking at here. Okay, if it switches over back to the other... Glitch is very common. How come I've only seen it a handful of times, though, in all the games I've played? And then again, like, some of them weren't platformers. Yeah, I honestly do think that is a forced reset right there. There really does not seem to be a way out of that. Oh yeah, gratitude to you, either E or X, for dropping by. Yeah, I'm forced to reset if I want to try this again. Yeah, it seems like the animation frames of this Mr. Burkle Durkle guy seem to shift between 2 different art styles. At least. Yeah, I gotta go up here, I would assume. Yeah, it looks like I do have to, in fact, go this way, and is that already the exit? Easy enough. So that was level 1 right there. That was much easier than I was expecting it to be. I'm just waiting to go up here, because I would assume I have to go up here. So yeah, this is Mr. Burkle Durkle, everyone. Okay, just picked up a heart. Wonder if that's even gonna do what I think it's going to. Okay, I do not go down there, clearly. Only explore the upper area. I'm gonna try that next. Upper area. Probably as soon as I can get there. Basically obscured game jam? Yup. Indeed. I didn't even see that enemy. Whatever it is supposed to be, I can't even tell. Seems like Extreme has played a lot of these games, though. He was here right now, in case anyone's wondering. I doubt that many other people have. But Extreme seems to have played a bunch of these. Oh no, I hope I'm not going back to level 1. Yeah, I probably did just get sent right back to level 1. Probably did get sent back. I mean, it is easy enough if the enemies on the ground just don't kill you instantly. Or nearly instantly. Yeah, that level 1 really is easy enough. I'm already back at 2. Really, no way to make continues happen in Ascension. Okay, I should have been trying harder to not get hit. Yeah, I think the character, yeah, there's 2 different art styles going on for this character's animation frames. Can't tell if that's on purpose or just, like, really bad oversight. What is this? It's a very weird game, that's what it is, to tell you the truth. Okay, maybe now I think I'm good to go here. Okay, I think I just broke the game again. Yeah, I just broke again. I glitched myself again, and now I think I'm stuck once more. Yeah, cycles between hand-drawn animation and what looks like some sort of claymation or attempt at replicating it with MS Paint. Yeah, I'm stuck again. Quite frankly, I've had enough. So I'll play Nathan Rocks next. Yeah, because these games were made back in the 90s. Most of them were made in the 90s. Kind of remind me of Vine Sauce, if you're okay with the comparison, playing these obscure games with actual commentary over them. Nathan Rocks has an attempt at Pong. Okay, what even is this? What's the object here? Oh, so this is what you were talking about here. I have to just bounce the ball. Yep, so this is supposed to be Pong on RSD Game Maker. Was I born in the 90s? Yes. So this is supposed to be Pong and RSD Game Maker. The ball's doing things I'm typically not expecting it to do. Wait, they had Dragon Ball Z games on this? Also, like... how do you win on this? Okay, it looked like that ball should have gone off the right side of the screen, but didn't. Yeah, but it feels like something's wrong with it. Like, I don't even know if you can win it. Or lose, maybe. Maybe you can't even lose, I don't know. Yeah, that ball should be going off the right side of the screen, but it's just doing everything else aside from that. Okay, it doesn't even look like I can lose either. I can't seem to win and I can't seem to lose. The ball just never goes off the screen. Yeah, the ball's never going to go off the screen. So it's Pong, but you can't win or lose at it. Like, how can you fail this badly at just simply trying to make Pong work? Beats me. Turns out you really couldn't do much on this engine at all. Even Pong was apparently a really difficult task to handle. Of all games. Even one of the simplest ones apparently is just one hell of a task for this engine to even try and handle. I don't even know if I can get off of this screen or not. I don't know if I'm stuck here till I reset. Seems like there's no escaping that Pong game. Seems like you're stuck in limbo there. I'm gonna see if I can get myself into something that's not the Pong game. What if I go here? What if I go on this white tile? Or this corner? Alright, Nathan's dead and his head is just removed from his body. Okay, so we have an attack. Okay, we're assuming this is indeed Nathan. Some kid with blonde hair. I don't know if it was around in the 90s, because this is 90s we're talking about here, so it's a while back. I think I already checked this left corner. Yeah, quite frankly, I just want to check everywhere I can as soon as possible and just get this game over with. How was I born? Same way as any other person, really. If you want me to describe that. That's if you want me to describe, like, exactly how it happened. Probably the same as anyone else, really. Okay, so there really seems to be nothing else in the game besides this Pong game. That you can't really win or lose. The ball never goes off screen. Remind you, this was the best Game Maker engine on DOS released in the US at the time. Dazemon had a great scrolling shooter engine but for the Super Famicom, but that was made only for scrolling shooters, so it was only really good at one task again. Okay, there's apparently an NBA game in here. If it's a basketball game like I think it is in here. So yeah, imagine playing a basketball game in this Game Maker. Yeah, so we might just find out what that's going to look like. Oh, okay, I'm actually missing something. I'm missing bball.gam. So I guess this was supposed to be maybe a basketball game, but I'm missing a file. Illegal command K. Okay, now I seem to have a command prompt here. Found but not playable in the Internet Archive. Can I clear the screen? Displays changes current directory, internal date, remove one of our files, exit from the shell. If I exit from the shell, what happens? I think that might have just crashed the command prompt or something. I think that crashed it. Guess we're gonna play Palladia instead. Palladia, the game. Guess we're skipping one. I mean, I don't think these games were ever really sold in the first place, so wouldn't really be anything wrong with pirating them. Oh, this one's playable. Again, no instructions or storylines, just games to play. Alright, so what is that attack exactly? Okay, he jumps high. Wait, how high can this guy actually jump? Wait, does he jump or does he fly? Yeah, if you can't even get Pong to work very well on an RSD Game Maker, then I can't imagine being able to really do much of anything else. Right, so I think I maybe have to go right. If there's even anything over here. Yeah, again, I run so fast the camera can't keep up. Okay, I think I might have already been here. What if I fly upwards? Like, is there even much of a game here or no? Or is it this, like, just an unfinished product? Or do I have to go up instead of just left and right? Alright, so I'm at the top of the screen, I would assume. Doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to go much further up. Can make text adventure in this. I would hope so. I would hope that would be simple enough. That sounds even simpler than Pong, so I would really hope so. Up the platforms, but to what point? Yeah, I'd hope it would be possible. I don't even know. I haven't tried the engine and likely won't try it. With most of the games playing, like... Well, a lot of the games playing rather poorly, I'm probably not going to touch it. Also, who exactly is our character supposed to be anyways? Looks like he has, I don't know, does he have some body armor on? He's got some red eyes. Seems to maybe have, like, no mouth, or maybe just a lot of facial hair. And he's got pants on, right? Looks like maybe he's got a tube top on and nothing else, I don't know. Oh, wait, what? Okay, now he's wearing pink. Why'd they put him in pink? It's beyond me. This looks like one of the manliest characters I played as in any of these RSD games, and now he's wearing pink. I guess maybe that's because real men do wear pink. Yeah, how was I supposed to guess that was going to lead me to the next stage? Whatever that was I touched, how was I supposed to guess that would take me to the next stage? Now I'm just wondering where he's supposed to go next. Well, I can't seem to fall down any further. And there's a lot of the screen to check again. Though I'd probably want to stay near the building. Okay, that detail I didn't remember from one of the Mr. Spiffs. I just mainly remember Mr. Spiff 4 because of all the absolutely crazy sound effects that game had. I mean, if the crazy graphics were enough, then you also had the sound effects as a real treat as well. Yes, there were some Mario fan games made on this engine as well. And results were pretty terrifying, to say the least. Okay, do I go in this window or no? Yeah, because I would assume I have to go somewhere. Oh, cool. So you beat Devourer of Gods after all, I see. I assume you're still playing Expert? Yeah, I must be getting... I know you're getting really close to the end of the game at this point. Meanwhile, I just don't know what's going on right now. I'm playing as this really manly dude wearing pink. Might be wearing a pink tank top and nothing else, I don't know. Yeah, sounds great, Expert mode. I don't know where to even go. Still have no clue where to go right now. Yeah, it's this game engine that was made by Recreational Software Designs, this company that I don't know if is still actually operational to this day. They made it in like 1990, well, they released it in 1991. It was probably in the works like maybe like very early 90s, maybe even late 80s for all we know. Okay, what just happened? The game's over. The game just randomly ended. Yeah, that's the advertisement for the engine, or one of the advertisements for the engine. Yeah, it was sold through direct mail. This is before, like, the internet was really huge, and this is when the internet was still, like, very young, and only recently became something that the general public could use. This was mostly used by hobbyists rather than AAA game developers, and from a bunch of the games I've played, that clearly shows. And a lot of this does also have to do with the engine itself. It seemed like one of the main underlying limitations I'm constantly running into as an issue is that if you want to jump, you typically need 3 jump buttons to do just proper jumping. There's a jump button to jump up, one to jump, like, while moving right, and one to jump while moving left. So a straight up jump and 2 diagonal jumps, instead of just being able to run right and then press 1 jump button to jump while still moving right. Do people still make games on it? There are a few that were actually made in the 2010s. I think the latest one was maybe 2016 or 2017. Which is surprising to see, like, any of these games being made in the 2010s. Even though still, like, a majority of them are made in the 90s. Yeah, I saw a 2016 one. There's a 2018 one here. And there's just a link to it on YouTube. I will probably want to go look at that. And I think, as a matter of fact, I will look at the 2018 one, see what it looks like. I'm gonna put this in cinema mode here. Okay, so I'm just gonna watch the video of, or maybe some of the video of, why is this on the Lost Media Wiki, though? A lot of these games were seemingly lost to time. Some of them still are and will probably never be found. Some of them are permanently lost. Making games without an ounce of code sounds too good to be true, right? Well, today for the Season 5 finale of Ancient DOS Games, Gemini's taking a look at Game Maker, specifically the one developed by RSD in the early 90s, with the intent being to allow people to make their own games with zero coding experience required. As you might imagine, this thing doesn't quite live up to the hype for a number of reasons, but it's still a very unique and interesting thing despite the issues. But really, the only thing stopping it from gaining traction was the fierce competition it ended up against not long following its initial release. And yes, you can still download this, apparently. Even today, you can still probably download it. But I'm just playing the games in my browser here. I'm just playing the games in my browser here. And then I'll probably just be, like, done with them forever, most likely. Alright, someone left another comment. Must have been in some crazy situation because I only started my RSD stream at, like, 6:30 p.m.
150th episode of Ancient DOS Games. And instead of looking at a specific game today, we're going to
I wouldn't call, like, looking up and just doing my research on Bitcoin exactly a crazy situation.
Although to allay confusion with other programs of the same name, it's often referred to nowadays as RSD Game Maker, after the name of the company which made it. Now, we need to get 2 very important points out of the way right now before we can really dive into this thing. Firstly, Game Maker was revolutionary when it came out, as extremely few tools existed by that point which allowed for the easy creation of games, and the ones which did exist pretty much confined you to just one kind of game. But despite that, Game Maker is extremely glitchy and extremely limited in terms of what's possible with it. Combined with a high price tag, limited distribution, and highly restrictive licensing requirements,
what was the price
once better
tag?
options came along, this thing was just rapidly forgotten about. Not everyone's forgotten, though. In fact, the only reason I know about it is thanks to finding it many years ago in that Softkey 2000 Hit Games collection we've been going through over on Shovelware Diggers. It was one of the many illegally distributed programs in that collection, and back in the mid-90s when I got those discs, I was already doing stuff with ZZT and thought it'd be really cool to be able to easily make games with graphics instead of just text characters.
Might have to skip a few parts to see the actual gameplay footage.
Documentation, it was extremely difficult to do much of anything with Game Maker, given its incredibly unusual mechanics and nomenclature. So I ended up sticking with ZZT at the time. Well, until I discovered Megazooks in the late 90s, of course. Nowadays, Game Maker is served up under an open source license, and many of the games made for it have been archived and are also downloadable. And it's actually quite the collection of software when you do see it, but it still pales in comparison to how much attention ZZT and Megazooks snapped up. Game Maker has its place in DOS gaming history for sure, but it's a very small and very niche place compared to what it could have been if it had the same flexibility and reliability of its rivals. Game Maker was originally developed and released by Recreational Software Designs in 1991, RSD being a family company comprised primarily of Gregory Andrew Stone and his father George Oliver Stone, although other members of the family contributed to the project as well. And as is plainly clear, this was intended as game creation software.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in school again, kind of.
With the last
I feel like I'm sitting in another lecture.
CD-ROM
I don't mind.
1994. It supports VGA 320x200 256 color graphics, and while the original versions only supported PC speaker sound effects, later versions added support for Sound Blaster sounds and music through the use of Creative Labs CMF.
Yeah, I guess that was a big deal in
As for
1991.
its current release date, it was made freeware and open source back in 2014. And the best place I can recommend to not only download Game Maker itself, but a plethora of games made with it, would be the Game Maker Archive, found at www.adirac.com/GameMaker. Physical copies do exist, but are ultra rare to put it mildly. I found none for sale in my searches, and came across very little in the way of box shots and manual shots. Though that same Game Maker Archive site also has a downloadable scanned copy of the entire manual, which I highly recommend you grab if you intend to do much of anything with this program.
I'll just use Unity.
We'll get to the actual design process of a Game Maker game in a bit, but first, let's talk about how a typical Game Maker game actually plays.
You get this kind of title
Every game
screen
in
with
Game Maker
these
starts out with
options.
the same main menu options, allowing for playing the game, reading instructions for the game, reading the story details for the game, seeing the credits, seeing the high scores, or quitting out of the game. Game Maker will show random color gradients if any images needed for the title screen or menus are missing or undefined, while all other sections can be done either entirely with images, entirely with text, or a combination of the two. I should also point out that anytime the game engine allows use of an image file, you can use animations instead, or specifically formatted text files which define multiple files to load in sequence. No matter what the intent of the game being played, each one is made up of various components: maps, background tiles, monster tiles, character tiles, the monsters themselves, one or more characters, though only ever one at a time, color palettes, and sound effects, all of which tie together in some way or another. Because of the nature of the engine, most games made with Game Maker are either action games played from an overhead perspective with four-directional movement, or are platformers, though there is the occasional game which finds ways to exceed the limitations of the engine and produce a genre that isn't easily accomplished.
Like Alan Call's Adventure.
Is so limiting is because
Still wish I could have actually known what was going on in that.
Many of the design tools are graphical in nature, more so with the later versions of the software than with earlier versions, and only offer you options as to how things interact, rather than offering conditionals or logical progressions. This means whatever you want the game to do has to be possible within the limits of the interactions the engine makes available. As an example, one of the first things anyone will notice when trying to play a Game Maker game is that every platformer made for it will try to get you to use the numeric keypad for movement instead of the arrow keys, and will assign the 7 and 9 keys to diagonal jumps. This is because it's not possible to hold multiple keys down. I mean, you can, but only one key is going to be read at a time. The reason for this limitation is because you literally use relative animation frame positioning to define movement. So it'd be kind of weird to have the game try to process two animations on the same character at the same time. Another thing you'll notice is that there's no stats on the screen. Now, hiding the stats was an intentional decision, which I can't say I'm on board with. Well, ironically, Megazooks did this too, but Megazooks included the tools possible to make all kinds of varying status indicators. Whereas here, you're forced to access your inventory screen to see your stats. And even then, you don't see all of your stats.
And I basically never do that too, also.
Games in this are able to limit character actions, such as having limited ammo for a gun, is by using what's referred to as repetition counters, which set limits on how many times a particular character action can be performed, which you can then increase or decrease from tile interactions. But the problem is that you never get to visually see these repetition counters. So yeah, you can have limited ammo for a gun, but you'll never know how much ammo you have have left. Same thing goes for special counters, which are similar to repetition counters, but are used for tile interactions instead. Typically things
Yeah,
like
that is a
keys and
Minecraft
locked
fan
doors.
game in RSD.
Characters also
You're not
have
seeing
health,
things.
money, lives, and score. Though money is an optional feature, which can be disabled for a game if you don't want to use it. One of the more unusual things you'll encounter with these games, though, are the monsters. Now, something I need to address is that there's no such thing as a sprite in Game Maker. Beyond the map tiles, you have monsters and characters, and that's it. That means any bullet fired by anything is technically a monster, as there's nothing else it could be, which means it has all of the same potential interactions as the actual monsters hunting the player. But what makes this even more unusual is that monsters don't have hit points. Instead, they have a power level. The way it works is that anytime two monsters make contact, or the player makes contact with a monster, first, any numerical interactions which have been set to occur with the tiles themselves will take place. Then the power levels are checked, with the player's power level always being equal to 100. If one monster's power level exceeds the others, the weaker one will be killed. Or if both are identical, neither monster will die. Though the character never dies directly from these interactions, so instead the monster will just continue to live and continue to make contact, possibly locking the player into a constant loop of injury animations. Yeah, these power level-based interactions are the reason why
That's
so
happened a
many
few
Game
times.
Maker games with multiple weapons simply define which weapons are strong enough to kill which monsters, and if they're not strong enough, they simply have no effect. Also, because monsters don't have hit points, this means to emulate multi-hit monsters requires an entirely different approach, such as having monsters change into different kinds of monsters when they get shot. Other tricks are also necessary to avoid locking the player into hit loops, such as giving monsters lower power levels so that they can only hurt the player once and then die, kind of like being stung by a bee, or by having the monster's animation loop between various frames where only a few of those frames, or just one of them, actually have hit point reductions attached to the tiles. That way the monster is not going to trigger a character's injury animation unless they actually do reduce the character's hit points. On the plus side, the nature of Game Maker makes it possible to save and load games at any point in time. Though since many of the games made for Game Maker are simple and short, you may not find yourself using this feature very often, if at all. And the last thing to mention before we talk about actually making games this thing is the camera. Quite frankly, the camera sucks and is completely unsuitable for most kinds of games. The only control you have over the camera is locking which directions of movement are allowed to scroll it. It otherwise does a terrible job of showing you what's in front of you, and while I understand some of the reasoning for how it works, that kind of reasoning only works with smaller tile sizes. Everything feels too cramped given the large tile sizes and stingy camera. Being able to keep the camera centered on certain axes would have made so many games so much more playable. Though again, because of how characters animate and move, it probably would have been tricky to code properly, to say the least.
Are we actually going to see the game soon, or is it just going to be more of a lecture on the Game Maker?
Let's talk about how a Game Maker game comes together by making our own. I'm going to skip over the palette editor because chances are you're never going to use it, unless you're trying to make your game 100% in Game Maker without any external software, which is, quite frankly, both a bold and bonkers idea. Instead, you're probably going to want to import graphics from other software, but many users of Game Maker likely ran into their first hurdle right here. Game Maker's only supported graphics file format is GIF, or GIF or GIF or however you want to pronounce it. This was still a relatively new file format when Game Maker debuted, and only a tiny handful of graphics applications supported it. A Deluxe Paint Animation was one such program, but not everyone had that one. I had Deluxe Paint 2 Enhanced, which did not support GIF files. So in this event, you had to have some other program to do file conversions.
Wow.
A common one in the 90s being Graphics Workshop. The strictly requiring GIF and not also including support for other more common DOS image formats like PCX, LBM, and PIC was definitely a mistake. Although I guess it does support FLI animations too, but not well, as I couldn't make one which would load properly. Although the actual import process is designed to be idiot-proof, which is a nice touch. When you go to import graphics into a tile set, it won't let you until you select the tile you want the grab operation to begin from, and once you make
yeah,
a
we
grab,
would be in for
you
one
then
hell
have
of an
to select the
AVGN
next
episode
file
if you
you
ever
want
found
change
this, to be
before it'll
honest.
let you. Now, because you can import over half of the full allotment of 150 tiles in one click, locking the user from making a huge mistake was probably a good idea. Plus, you don't have to select individual tiles. You can just right-click to select the next free tile in the set. Still, changes aren't saved until you explicitly tell the program to save a file, and even then, you'll be given an overwrite warning if the file name you started with doesn't match the file name that you're saving to. Now, importing your graphics is all well and good, but you still need to define the metadata for your tiles, which is done with the tile editor. While this editor does have rudimentary graphics tools in place, they're so basic that you really don't want to be stuck using them if you can avoid it. But this screen still makes it possible to check that your animations are working right, at least, with the scratch pad on the right, and you're still going to need to assign all the extra data that the tiles can have. Background tiles are the most complicated. You can set which directions they're solid from, as well as which directions gravity will push the character in, keeping in mind that monsters are not affected by gravity. Now, typically for a platform, you'd want all your tiles to have downwards gravity, but you can also use gravity to create conveyor belts, wind, or by setting opposite directions to both have gravity, you can create horizontal or vertical momentum on the tile, meaning whatever momentum the character had when entering the tile, they'll keep until they leave the tile, which is good for ice or space physics. The top right corner has settings for what to do when a character touches a tile, with some considerations to keep in mind. You can have a tile change to a different kind on contact, or you can affect score, hit points, or a specific counter. The important thing to note about affecting specific counters is that if you try to go negative and the counter is incapable of going negative, the character is not allowed to change the state of the tile. Now, this is how you're able to create a locked door, or items which require a particular amount of money to pick up.
That's how you make locked doors? Is that how Tyner did it?
Is whether a tile is considered to be an object the player can pick up.
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Character sequences to requiring that a specific object be in the player's inventory. You can also set up animations and monster creation. An extremely important note about creating animations is that they're tied to a global timer. This means it's not possible to produce animations which start and stop on demand. All animations have to be loops. You can cut into a loop from a different animation or action, but if an animation doesn't ultimately loop itself, it'll never play back more than once, ever. And even then, only at the very start of playing on the map. If animations weren't locked to a global timer, then you could do sequences like having doors open and shut, but it's simply not possible. Well, not with background tiles alone anyways. You could probably do it with the monsters. Now, speaking of the monsters, that last option there is for creating them. And it has it so that when a tile is in range of the character and the global timer passes a particular tick, it'll create the monster number indicated. And I should mention the ticks are timed to the interrupt timer. So 1 second equals 18.2 ticks. So it's kind of impossible to time anything out to exact seconds. But you can time things out to multiples of 5 seconds, as that would be exactly 91 ticks. And back to monster creation though. To save on memory, the game doesn't process monster creation on tiles outside of about 1.5 screen widths from the player. So that's something to keep in mind, as you can't use this feature to create long-running monster creating sequences. And besides which, there's only a limit of 200 active monsters at a time anyways, and that includes
Halfway
every
through the
monster
video,
you
that's
place
it.
manually on a map.
Thought it was further through.
There's also a 50 monster limit for anything within range of the player. Monster tile sets store a bit less info than background tiles, as they don't produce gravity, cannot birth monsters, and cannot be changed to other tiles on contact, as monster animations are set up in a special way. They can still be made solid though, which is particularly important if you want to have things like breakable walls. Now, character tiles literally have no extra data saved other than animation data, which again isn't used because of customizing the animations differently. It's just there for assistance with the scratch pad in the editor. Now, creating monsters is quite the involved process. You first need to create an animation for the monster, having various tiles it runs through in sequence with delays between each. Then you have a huge number of properties to set up. Movement is perhaps the most notorious because this is basically the equivalent of AI. You can either have a monster move towards the player, away from the player, according to a predetermined pattern, or you can have monsters move to completely random spots. This pretty much makes it impossible for monsters to react in intelligible ways. You do have an option to set an attack pattern, which is just a fixed movement pattern which only occurs when the player gets close, but this often glitches out in horrible ways, and it's difficult to really get working right, or at all sometimes. You also set the monster's ability to pass through solid walls, its power level, how it dies, if another monster spawns in its place when it dies, and how many points it's worth when it dies. Remember, monsters can only die from contact with the character or other monsters if their power level is weaker than what they're making contact with. So it's also possible to set monsters to die within a time limit, or when they complete their movement pattern. Or never, but you have to be careful you don't accidentally flood the map with that one. Again, when it comes to the monsters themselves, there's no such thing as hit points, no separation of them from things like bullets, no way to have a monster fire bullets, and no direct means to spawn multiple monsters at a time. Though there are clever hacks you can do to get around that last one, depending on the nature of the game you're making. Either way, this all greatly hinders the versatility of what monsters can do. Yeah, there's a lot of options you can adjust, but many important features just aren't here. And having monsters affected by gravity, having hit points, having proper separations between different kinds of game elements, all of those would have made the monsters more flexible. Although, just like
Yeah,
with
it's
every
something
other
you take for
facet of this
granted,
game
monsters
engine,
having health.
there are some special considerations.
They
you can
apparently
take
never even
advantage of.
had that
For instance,
functionality in the RSD.
RSD.
This I didn't know, they never had that.
The monster from your character, it'll always move away based on the last direction the character moved in. Plus, the monster tile will be rotated so that it faces the proper direction. Though, just remember that everything you want to fire in this manner should be drawn facing east by default. Creating characters is a much more involved process. You can set up default values like hit points, lives, and money, but you also need to define sequences. And there's a total of 18 sequences, 3 defaults used for idle, death, and injury, then 15 others which can be fully customized and tied into specific keyboard keys and joystick combinations. Each sequence can also have animations and sound effects tied in. Now, one of the drawbacks here from an animation perspective is that the idle animation cannot be left blank. Even if you intentionally leave it blank, the character will default
just
to the
make
first
another
tile
monster on
the
top of
tile
that
set
monster.
use. Thus, you can't
And
have
then a monster on
characters
top
stay
of
in a
that
particular
one and
look
just
when they
rinse
stop
and
moving.
repeat.
The length of
And
the
give it
injury
health that
animation
way.
sequence also affects how often you can take damage, as you can't take damage while the injury animation
But
is
that's
playing
awkward
out.
as hell
But you're
compared to
also
just
locked
simply,
out
I
of
don't
your
know,
controls,
giving it
meaning you can't move
an
while the
actual
injury
health bar.
animation is playing out either. That's why getting stun locked is so incredibly easy if you don't design your monsters around this potential. As for all the custom sequences, remember that wherever the animation ends in terms of player movement will be how far the player moves from using that sequence. You can also define monsters to fire from the player, and you can also set usage limits in terms of tying the sequence to having a particular background tile in your inventory, or having the repetition counter for that sequence above 0. There's also interruption and auto-repeat settings. If a sequence cannot be interrupted, then that means until the sequence ends and no longer repeats, the character is incapable of doing anything else, which is fine for single-use sequences, but not useful at all for things like walk animations. Auto-repeat allows a sequence to be performed again immediately after it finishes, and is what allows for
Yeah, that
walk
would sound
cycles
like
and
something
rapid
that would be
fire.
almost
Though
impossible
remember,
to
you
do
only
on
get
this
one
engine
key
now that
at
I
a
think
time.
about
So
it.
if you attach auto-repeat to something like firing a gun, you can't move until you stop firing. There's a couple other important notes about
I've had that
characters.
problem too,
The
quite
first is
frankly, in
that
a
you
few of
may
these
sometimes
games.
want to have a particular key function differently
Wouldn't
depending
be able to
on the
move and
inventory or
fire.
repetition counter
That
states.
honestly feels
The way
very
it
stiff.
works when a key is defined multiple times is whichever sequence is able to be performed first.
I don't know, but still
is the
hearing
one
about
which
it is
gets
interesting
performed.
enough.
Thus, you can use this to have the character move or shoot differently depending on their inventory. Fortunately not possible, so you'll need to work around that. It's pretty fast, thankfully. It's also important to keep in mind if you're making a game with small levels, or levels which only scroll on one axis, that you can place your level entrances and exits both within the same map, as maps are just linked to each other through the scenes in the game. The sound editor is extremely basic and just lets you adjust PC speaker waveforms or attach VOC files. This means making PC speaker sound effects that are actually decent is nearly impossible. If you want decent sound in your game, you absolutely need to use the Sound Blaster sound capabilities. And the last piece of the puzzle is the integrator. This is where you create your scene tree and link everything together, including entrance points and exit points into and from each map. Each scene basically has a bunch of files you link into it, and then it loads all of that up when the scene is loaded. Since everything ultimately boils down to ID numbers, you can actually take advantage of this, having multiple maps with different graphics, still using the same tile ID values for things like power-ups and items. In fact, for any items a character is expected to pick up and keep throughout the course of the game, you kinda have to do it that way. But when all is said and done, you should end up with a fully completed game. This is why I needed an extra week to make this video, because I decided to go through the entire game building process to be sure I was up to snuff on everything. And this is what I created. EGA Combat Gladiators Arena.
So are you supposed to go through the wall?
4 levels to clear,
Okay, I guess you are.
Progressively more difficult and introducing new enemies every step of the way. I was butting up against Game Maker's limitations the whole way, though.
Wow.
I probably spent just as much time making the game as I did compensating for when something I wanted to do wasn't possible. Thankfully, one thing I did want to do to exceed Game Maker's limitations was selectable ships, each with different stats, and that was indeed a feature I was able to pull off. When you start the game, you can choose between 3 different ships. The Tonto is the fastest moving, but takes the most damage when hit. The Cutlass takes the least damage when hit, but has the slowest, shortest range weapons, while the Falchion has the fastest, longest range weapons, but moves the slowest. I've made the game available as a free download from my own website, and I'll have a link to it in the video description. Plus, I've included it in both GAM and EXE format, so you can either run it on its own,
This
or
looks
through
pretty
Game Maker
playable,
software
despite
itself.
the engine.
Actually, probably a good thing Game Maker is open source and freeware nowadays. Otherwise, this might not have been legal.
So yeah, that would be the game there. And this looks like some other
I could go
RSD
into
game, right?
Details about how the Game Maker engine has issues with managing monsters, or glitches out animations, or can't handle multiple keys being pressed. But quite frankly, it's just a whole ton of minor things, all culminating together to make for a very quirky and glitchy experience. So I'd really just be nitpicking like a madman. But there is one extremely major issue Game Maker as a whole had, and it doesn't even have anything to do with the actual software, but rather the licensing. I'm not sure if I've ever explained this in an Ancient DOS Games video yet, but no one ever, quote, buys software. When you spend money on a piece of software and bring it home, you're not buying a legal right to the software itself, you're buying a legal right to use it, typically referred to nowadays as an end-user license agreement, or EULA. And those rights have limitations, typically in the form of not producing illegitimate copies, not using the software on more than one computer at a time without purchasing additional licenses, and that sort of thing. The license agreement
Oh, what is that
dictates
title
what
screen?
purchase allows you to do with the software. For a game, this is straightforward, since all you do is play it.
I wonder if I'll be
But
playing that
something
one
like Game
sometime
Maker,
soon.
where you're creating games, this is where things get a little more complicated. Modern game creation tools have license agreements which spell out exactly what forms of distribution are allowed and with what levels of compensation for the authors of those tools. Generally speaking, none of the modern tools out there are going to gouge you for cash until you're well past the point of it really making any dent in your profits, except for the initial cost to entry with some of them. I typically champion around the Godot engine nowadays since it's completely free to use and extremely powerful, although perhaps a little too intimidating for anyone unfamiliar with such software, since it does virtually no hand-holding. And I do want to quickly point out, too, that the Game Maker Studio software that you see used a lot nowadays has nothing to do with RSD Game Maker. But RSD Game Maker's licensing was restrictive, to put it mildly.
I
Unfortunately,
recognize that
freeware
one.
distribution was not an option, technically. The licensing allowed you to make up to 10 copies of your games to share for free, but that was it. Any further distribution required you to either purchase a commercial license or distribute through shareware with a minimum registration fee of $5. And no matter which distribution method you chose, royalties would be due to RSD on all copies sold. This licensing severely restricted what people were legally allowed to do with the software, and in a sense...
So that's probably why it failed?
RSD
Is that really the reason why it failed?
promote
Not
sales,
so much
but
like the
because
engine
of
was
these
janky?
restrictions on distribution, it wasn't easy to spread the word about Game Maker. In fact, I'm pretty sure all of the games out there made with this software were distributed as shareware, with the authors completely unconcerned with making any money back, since tacking on a shareware registration fee was the only way to make free distribution legal as per the licensing terms. And I haven't heard of any games made with this ever being sold in a box. But hey, if anyone knows of one, let me know. It'd certainly be an odd thing to look into. But yeah, these extreme restrictions, combined with Game Maker's very high initial price point of $89 are
89 bucks for that software?
Despite being illegally distributed amongst BBSs and even in that soft key shareware collection I've got. And I think the nails in the coffin were ZZT and Megazoos. ZZT came out later the same year Game Maker debuted, at a price point of only $12.95.
Okay, next game then. So that was an interesting history lesson, and also a pretty nice game for the limitations that come with this Game Maker. But still, Pixel Amusement, thank you for the history lesson. Much appreciated. So, yeah, I was talking about more recent games after playing Palladia. And I just happened to find that one from 2018, and I found a video of the game. Not so much like a download link, but the video has a download link that I just watched. The video had a download link to the game, but on this page it just links me to the video, which I decided to watch. And I do personally feel like that's enough. Yeah, so that's probably like one of the better RSD games by far. The one that Pixel Amusement made. Alright, so I guess we're gonna play Power Bud then. So back to the Alan Caudle titles. I have to pick up the liquid paper? No, can I pick it up or no? Okay, so why is there liquid paper if I can't pick it up? Same protagonist from Legend of Bud, you mean? Okay, I don't seem to have an attack right now. I would assume I can't fight back or anything. So I'll just see where I can go. If I can really go anywhere, that is. Yeah, I still do find myself randomly getting stun locked on enemies occasionally. And so far I haven't found a way to actually fight back against any of them. I'll try more keys. Okay, if I press W... Okay, W now seems to be my attack button. Okay, it was my attack button for a second. Yep, W is my attack button now. Some games it's space, some games it's enter. Now it's W. Yeah, I just have to go find my attack button again. That's 3 different attack buttons I've had so far this one stream. I think earlier it was space, then it was enter, now it's W. I just tried random keys on my keyboard until something happened. And W seems to be the one that actually just does the trick. I don't know if there's maybe another key that lets you attack. I'm guessing W must stand for something, right? Could be W for wind. I don't know. I mean, I guess you'll probably want to get used to this music because you're going to be hearing it a lot. You'll probably hear it a lot, so I would recommend getting used to it. Found a club of some sort. Okay, I guess I made it to another level. Yep, so attack with W. Yeah, it's D to just drop objects if you have anything to drop, that is. Okay, I can jump over that wall, good to know. Never been here before, I see. These jumps are interesting me. Gotta just make sure I don't actually mess them up. One of the less interesting ones to you, this game. Yeah, still, that game from Pixel Amusement, though, the one in 2018, was pretty nice. Especially considering how sometimes this engine just really doesn't let you do much of anything at all. I mean, like, one of the upsides to using it is you didn't actually have to have it background programming, so... I guess it seemed user-friendly at the time. I guess back then it wasn't so easy to just go on a Stack Overflow and just figure out how to program. Or even find just full-on crash courses for certain programming languages on YouTube. Yeah, I think today you can just pretty easily find a I don't know, like a 7+ hour long crash course on how to use Python. Like, it'll tell you, like, a bunch of what you need to know in just 7 hours. You'll just be able to sort of call yourself a programmer, despite maybe having, like, no experience prior. Probably did not have, like, those kinds of resources readily available in the 90s. I didn't even know about the super restrictive licensing either. Yeah, just... you can only share up to 10 copies of the game, and then you'll have to start paying them, like, money. Or just simply not be able to make money back. Okay, did I clip myself inside the ground? I think I did. I think I'm stuck on the ground here. Okay, I don't even know... Okay. I have totally been here already. Yeah, there are plenty of just crash courses for programming languages out there for beginners. In just a couple of hours, you could just call yourself a programmer. Though you probably won't be making games straight away at that point, but you'll definitely already be like 1 or 2 steps closer. Plus the resources are very, very readily available to anyone who wants them. Yeah, I don't think there was like it was that easy to get like full-on knowledge as to how to program back in the 90s. Okay, so I'm back up here. Where do I go now? Crunker on your vids? What do you mean, crunker? Okay, if I fall through another hole again, I'm just gonna be kind of done with this. Yeah, the game doesn't look that appealing, to be honest. Then again, I guess there wasn't much you could have done, like, back in the 90s. So I guess unsurprisingly, that's why the 2018 game looked better overall. It was just made more recently. So, which of these are tiles I can stand on? That one I can't stand on. Yeah, because I just don't want to keep on falling through tiles here, otherwise I'm gonna get nowhere. Okay, I guess I can maybe stand on the light green ones, I hope. Yeah, why? Yeah, good point. Really good point. Why would I want to just, like, have to pay for, like, this kind of quality? Yeah, especially since there was an apparently much better game engine that also came out not too much longer after RSD. And for, like, a fraction of the price, too. Though I haven't even seen ZZT, but I'm just going to kind of guess that it's better than RSD because I've seen enough RSD games and enough poor quality to really just give me that idea. Okay, now I haven't been up here yet. I think I might have beaten the game, I don't know. I think that might be the end, so let's go to another game, of course. Power Fights AC, Power Moves 2. Again, Alan Cottle, 1995. Or $199, but still. Way more money than that's really worth. Or at least the experience you get from the games. And then again, I think the actual cartridges themselves are collector's items. Even though, like, the quality of the gameplay you're getting from Action 52 is nowhere near worth $199. Okay, some instructions. Finally, some instructions. No storyline, and there's some credits. Special thanks to Adam Tyner and people who helped me, of course. Dummy Duck and all associated characters are copyrighted 1992. So Dummy Duck is in this one. Okay, I'm gonna go to... It looks like I'm gonna go to hell. Or at least try and go to hell. Alright, so... How do you actually get off of this screen? Looks like I have to choose one of these paintings or something for which level I want to go to, but I can't seem to go in there. Okay, I just reset the game. Go to the city. The hell one's not playable. Cool. Thanks. Well, we have a fighting game here. Or an attempt at one. Okay, I think I just punched this guy's face off. Yeah, so we have some sort of an attempt at a fighting game. Speaking of trying to make a fighting game on this engine, looks like Alan Call did attempt it, despite the engine's limitations. So, I have to wonder how this is going to go, given what we already know about the engine. Okay, what is this? What is this crouching animation? Looks like the guy is laying down, but someone cut off the lower half of his body. So, can I even do anything else from here or no? Looks like I can attack this guy all I want, but seems like nothing else is really coming from it. Took off this guy's face, or took off his mask, and maybe he's actually a robot. And then I just couldn't really do anything else. Yeah, even these animations when I'm punching are a little scuffed. Is it possible to really beat this dude any further or not? You got 200 points. I mean, I tried punching the guy some more and it seemed like nothing was coming from it. Yeah, maybe with the limitations this engine has, maybe it really is only possible to hit that guy once and then not do much else. I don't even know exactly. Well, there's Raiden 2 by Alan Cottle. Yeah, I would hope so at this point. So I'm almost an hour and 30 minutes into this stream. I'll still probably play a couple more games. Got this music again. Like I said to either E or X, get used to it. You're gonna hear this a lot. Now I gotta figure out which button attacks. Yeah, I thought it was based off like an actual game. Also titled Raiden. Or Raiden, however I pronounce it. But where's the attack button? Yeah, I have a ship, I have a spaceship, but no attack button? But I don't even have an attack button, or at least I don't know what it is, the attack button. Trying enter in space and W. We'll just try everything else and see if I shoot anything. We'll just try every key on my keyboard once again. Maybe it's something completely different once again. Maybe it's, I don't know, question mark. Okay, my tilde key now seems to be for drop instead of D. I don't know. Normally that's D, now it's tilde. It's not F1, it's not F2. I'll try everything. I'll see if I can get this shit to fire. Oh, I can save my game, but I'm probably not gonna have a need to do that. Game port. That's just information about the people who made the Game Maker. No programming needed. Order from your local computer store, KD Software, Rochester, New Hampshire. Call for the latest price. You have to wonder what would happen if you called the number on screen in 2021. You have to wonder who, if you'd get anyone on the other end of the line if you call them today. If you call that number now. So the F keys don't seem to be doing the trick. I don't think me blowing up is actually for me pressing anything. Yeah, I could get, like, different person. Yeah, I remember that, like, there was one NES game, specifically Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where to actually progress in the game... Okay, I picked something up. Still doesn't let me attack, though. Thought maybe I need to pick up some ammo, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Yeah, there was Who Framed Roger Rabbit on the NES, where to actually progress through the game, you would actually have to call some number that was given in the game and talk to someone on the other end who would actually tell you what you needed to do to get further in said game. These days, that number leads to a sex hotline. So, yeah, that idea really didn't age well. Yeah, Raiden, but without the ability to actually fight back. But I can't seem to attack. I've tried everything on my keyboard. I've tried the F keys. Escape is not going to be it. Trying like Alt, Control, Tab, Shift. I tried just about everything on my keyboard that exists, and still nothing. Print screen's probably not gonna start attacking. I didn't think so. Alright, next game. Sorry, but anyone who wanted to see that, I guess will have to be disappointed. Alright, so Return of the Jedi. Yeah, I tried everything. Found a phone number that I don't even think I can call to get someone on the other line who's gonna help me. Who knows, I might get a sex hotline instead. Star Wars. Return of the Jedi. Okay, so no instructions, storyline, or credits for this one either. Alright, so Star Wars fan game. Let's play it. Okay, what's going on? Okay, I think I figured out who we're supposed to be playing as. So this is the so-called isometric shooting you were talking about? Oh, Christ almighty. This game sucks like a bunch of the rest of them. Well, at least that's the kind of vibe I'm getting. It's probably gonna suck like most of them that I also found and played earlier. It's probably gonna be just almost as bad as the rest of them. Yeah, so if I don't just hold down, then my ship is going to simply fly faster than the camera can scroll to keep up with it. And I'll probably just crash into random obstacles. So I'll probably have to kind of just hold down. So I don't just fly too fast, because if I don't, I just crash into the next thing I see. Yeah, so I kind of have to just hold down to slow myself down to a reasonable speed. So the camera can actually catch up with me. Yeah, clearly this music must be part of the engine. I've heard this in a lot of games. This one is one of the better ones. I mean, it's interesting, but still not that good. Okay, I'm pressing left and I'm actually moving up. Yeah, really, this is not something we see every day. And I'm still holding down so I don't just crash in the next tree I see. I feel like if I just release that, I'm gonna crash and burn again. Alright, so where exactly are we right now? I don't know if we're going in a loop again. I hope not. I don't think I'm pretty sure I didn't play Slinker yet, and I don't think I've seen this part of the level either. Okay! We did actually make it through one level. Not bad. Am I gonna crash into... Oh! That's not a cutscene! Oh shit, this isn't a cutscene. Oh, I gotta actually fly around obstacles here. I thought I was in a cutscene, but no, this is actually not a level. Yeah, now we're in space, just dodging what looks like, I don't know, maybe miniature Death Stars or Dyson Spheres and asteroids. Well, I don't see any stars in the middle of those. What look like, I don't know, like bars of metal just made into hexagonal and square shapes. Don't see any stars inside those though, so it doesn't look like they could be Dyson Spheres. Because those are built around stars, aren't they? Yeah, because that's like a structure you build around a star. Okay, what? And now I press right to actually shoot. I pressed down right to shoot here. I was pressing space to shoot on the last screen. In the forest, I was pressing space to shoot. Now I have to press right to shoot. And left to prevent myself from just crashing into the nearest obstacle. Otherwise I'll go too fast. Up and down to move up and down. At least that makes sense, but... right to shoot. I must have used at least 4 different buttons now to attack in this stream. I've used space, I've used enter in one of the games, I think that was Mr. Bunkle Dunkle, if he was even called that. No, Mr. Burkle Durkle. I used enter to attack in that game, I'm pretty sure. W to attack in Power Bud, and here, in Star Wars Return of the Jedi, I'm pressing right to shoot these things down. I'm thinking maybe I have to go in that giant Death Star. Otherwise I'm just gonna loop around the same level over and over. And if I want to fly faster, I just don't hold left. But I don't want to crash into something, so that's why I'm holding left still. Okay, now what? Some birds. Yeah, I get to look at some exotic birds. And it's telling me congratulations, I think I might have beaten the game. Okay, I think I might have beaten it? Yeah, I go into what looks like the Death Star, and then I get to see some nice birds, and then it tells me congratulations, I think I won. Alright, Robo Wars. Alan Caudle again. Yeah, this guy probably did make, like, the most RSD Game Maker games. That, or he just was the best at actually not losing his games. There were probably plenty of others who, maybe even a few, could have made more games, but just ultimately lost them, unlike Caudle. This guy was just apparently much better at actually keeping all his games. Most incomplete one of them all. Okay, so what's it gonna be to attack this time? Let me guess, question mark? So it's not enter, it's not... Alright, what's going on here even? It's not space or enter, clearly. It's not W. It's J, K, and L to attack now. So 3 attacks in 3 different directions, but those take up 3 different buttons. L to fire to the right, J to fire. Okay, let me see if there's anything else you can do. Okay, so that's just jumping left and jumping right. So J to attack left, K to attack upwards, L to attack right. 3 attack buttons in addition to 3 jump buttons. Okay, then. And if you want to shoot in front of you, like it's not just one simple attack button to press. If you're facing right or anything, like press L to shoot right. And even if you're facing left, you can't just press L to attack left. That always shoots right. Just like how J always shoots to the left, K always fires upwards. That is, if there's even anything to kill in this game. Yeah, it does attack. Okay, so now... yeah. Let's just add more buttons to the list of different buttons I had to use to simply attack. So first there was space, then there was enter, then there was W. Then there was right, and now there's J, K, and L. Okay, I can kill that platform over there. Yeah, I would personally recommend, like, anyone really wanting to work on any sort of game, finish what you begin. Finishing, like, one project and not starting 10 new ones is essential for the most part. I mean, especially if you're just really new to making games. And then suddenly just having, like, 10 random projects around. Oh, what's this portal for? Unless I can't even go in it. Oh, the guys that made that game where you just impregnate, like, quote-unquote violent women that you have to tame by impregnating them. Yeah, I can't seem to enter this. Unless it's another button I have to find to actually go in. Yeah, the portal that doesn't let me go anywhere. That or I have to find the right button to enter it. Oh, what's this? Whatever it is, it looks like it just killed me. Can I shoot that down or no? No way to enter the portal. Yeah, it doesn't really look... Okay, you probably did just tell me everything the game has. Okay, I think I can probably believe you at this point. This is all it has. Well, I found out how to attack, but still. Can't really find much of anything else. I might just look. I mean, I might surprise myself again. And might surprise you too, you never know. I was starting to look like you're probably right on at least that. There's no other screen in the game. Yeah, I found the attack buttons, J, K, and L respectively. Yeah, this seems to be just going nowhere. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can actually just take your word for it. Roll the Dice and Rooftop were 2013 and 2014 respectively. I might have to just download those on my own time and not just simply be able to play them in the browser. So there's Scurry the Squirrel that was made in 1993 I can now just give a try if I want to. I might just play this game and then just call it a stream. Even though I spent probably about a third of it or so just watching a Pixel Amusement video. I mean, the history lesson was interesting. I'm not gonna complain about the history lesson. Okay, so I'm guessing you have to not get run over by a car, right? Alright, so let's figure out how you play this. What? What just happened? What's going on right now? I have to dodge that car. I would assume I have to avoid that car somehow, but of course I'm not being told how to do it. Yeah, it's something I just don't see very often, and also no instructions as to what to even do. I avoided it by mashing spacebar. I'm okay. And the game ends again. Am I actually not okay? Yeah, so I mashed spacebar there. And what do I do here? I don't know. I'll mash everything I can. See if anything else happens after this screen. Nope. Seems like nothing else is happening. Is that really it? Is that the whole game? The best I could maybe do is just go and try and find Alan Codle and ask him personally, is that the whole game? Just mash spacebar and then you dodge the car and I guess you win? I don't know. It's not like there's any instructions or storyline or anything. It's not like I'm being told how to play. Okay, I guess I will play Ski because the squirrel game was just so short, assuming that was actually it. Assuming let's just dodge one car by mashing space. Well, let's see what we do here. I just crashed my guy already. That's a good start. Alright, so this is a skiing game, and I already game overed. Let's try again. Man, this guy's not easy to control now, is he? Okay, this is gonna certainly handle pretty awkwardly, but I'll give it a shot. Yeah, look at this guy go. I can make him go, like... I can make him go back up the hill, even. Yeah, I can literally make him just ski back up the hill. And then he just flies into more trees. Yeah, I can make him just go up the hill. Well, not any further up, and like once I hit the top of the screen, can't go further. But if I'm at the bottom of the screen and want to go back up, I can. Because that's apparently how gravity works in real life. Now if I just hold right, I can get my skier stuck in place and just keep them there indefinitely. I can just have my skier stay there for as long as I want to. Yeah, despite the fact that he's going down a pretty steep 45-degree angle, yet he can just simply stay there and not move at all, despite being on a pretty steep slope. There's no way you'd be able to do that in real life, just stop completely. I'm gonna guess, is it gonna be better than this game, I wonder? He doesn't care about gravity, he's just above that? Yeah, surely he must be above gravity. He has transcended this guy. This skier has truly transcended. Yeah, he can just completely and utterly bend the laws of physics. So why is he such a terrible skier? Yeah, the laws of physics barely affect him. But he still can't ski for shit, for the most part. Still not very good. Unless there's anything else in that game, I think I'm just going to stop playing it. I wouldn't know where to look. And even then, I might just have too much trouble dodging trees because the guy moves pretty fast. I mean, simply just tapping left. He goes... Okay, not that far to the left. Okay, maybe it doesn't move that fast. Yeah, but certainly feels awkward as hell trying to control this guy. Yeah, considering like what a skier should actually do in the real world, like what I'm seeing on screen doesn't match up with that at all. Like it barely matches up at all. Yep, so that was ski right there. I guess now I'm just... Okay, there's another Return of the Jedi game. So in other words, you're saying that there really wasn't anything else in that game to even do? Okay, there's some games that were actually made by both Alan and Adam. So I will play the last 3 of these next stream, and then we'll also go through the Star Avengers series. And then there's still plenty more games to look at. Okay, there's the Eric John Rossell list of games. Here's Pack. If this is the game I think it is, I just want to see like if this is the game I saw. If this is one of the games I saw in that video from Pixel Amusement, I think it is. I just want to see if this is that Pac-Man clone. Yup. It is. With an honestly pretty spooky title screen. Honestly, it is a pretty uncanny title. It looks even creepier, like, the frame, like, after you hit enter to go look at the storyline or the instructions or the credits. Look what happens just after you press enter to go and read the story, the instructions. Yeah, as if the title screen could not get any more cursed. It just has to prove me wrong, this game. It's gotta prove me wrong. Maybe I'll play that one at the beginning of part 6, perhaps. Or better yet, I might just actually play it right now and get it out of the way. I think I'll actually just play it now. I said last game is going to be Ski. No, I'll play Pac-Man ripoff here. Okay, quick question, do the power pellets even do anything in this game or not? Easier in PC Man's World? Screen still takes some time to actually catch back up to me, unfortunately. Oh, you have to shoot those at the ghosts. You have to shoot at the ghosts with the power pellets, really? I guess I can maybe forgive that if it's actually explained in the instructions. Then I guess I can forgive that. But if it's not in the instructions, then I'm really gonna be like, what the hell? Especially since it's not how the original Pac-Man went. You just, as soon as you pick up a power pellet, for like a couple seconds, you could just eat the ghost instead of them killing you. Assuming that's in the instructions. Yes it is. Okay, I guess I can overlook that. I mean, it's actually explained in the instructions. Clearly is there. Okay, I assume the ghosts spawn on those brown tiles. Alright, let's try and get through one level of this Pac-Man clone here. See if I can manage that. I mean, I did so for fucking PC Man's World. Which I'll probably never play again, to be honest. Question is, can you only have one power pellet at a time? That I don't know. Okay, I think you can have multiples at once. Okay, second level's got different enemies. Now there's like, what, almost 6 ghosts in here? Kind of waiting for the screen to catch up, otherwise I might just run into a ghost on plain accident, because I'm going too fast. Right, now I'm on a different level, but what are the different enemies gonna look like? Yeah, this definitely does look like a different level. Okay, I just got killed by a finger as soon as it spawned. Okay, then. I don't think I'm gonna try and beat it, though. I got through one level. And I would assume I'm gonna go right back to level 1. Yep. Let's see if I can just really rush through level 1 and get through it. And if I fail, then screw the whole thing. Yeah, so at least it is easier to play than PC Man's World stuff. Yep, the broken fingers. One that spawned, like, and just insta-killed me, too. Yeah, I got insta-killed by a severed finger. Yeah, way easier than the other Pac-Man game I played. Yeah, way more of a fighting chance on this Pac-Man game, clearly. Okay, was I? No, I wasn't actually stuck. I made myself stuck. My latest score is only 1,000. Yeah, that one looks more beatable than the other Pac-Man clone I played earlier. I think I'm still just going to end the stream here. I want to give the creepy Pac-Man title screen game a shot. Yeah, I'm gonna probably look forward to that, sort of. Okay, I thought the game just started automatically, but no. A demo movie just decided to start playing because I didn't press anything on the title screen for long enough. Okay, so a demo movie just started playing. Yeah, still definitely off-put by the fact that the screen has to scroll. And of course, the player character moves faster than the camera does, so you really don't want to move too fast because that just puts you like at great risk of running into something before you can even see it. Yeah, because you might just run into an off-screen ghost before you can actually spot it, because you're moving way faster than the camera itself does. Whereas with the original Pac-Man, everything's all on one screen. So it's just much easier to just assess where the ghosts are at any given moment. Just plays way better when everything's all on one screen.